English speakers, are you ready for a big breath? So stretch yourself and take the big breath. Today on my Swedish channel I talked about the good tips from Win Bigly that Scott Adams have written, but I just post them here for you. You can read them, and you better listen to Scott Adams than me if you know English. But then we can do a quick news report from around the world and how fucking stupid everyone is everywhere, it seems. First, there is a study from Germany that was not important, but then there is a study that tried to see if people who have genetics that make them have very high or higher vitamin D levels and compare how susceptible they are to getting COVID. And it turns out that people who have genetically, for genetical reasons, higher vitamin D levels, they are more susceptible to COVID. This is total bullshit. It's done by people with connections to the big pharma and stuff like that, and they try to scare you that it might be dangerous to take vitamin D supplements, which is bullshit. If you only take 4,000, that's absolutely no problem. Never ever. So what is the reason for this? One I can think of, might be something else, of course, and I haven't really dug into the study, but one obvious thing might be that these people who have genetics that make their body have higher vitamin D levels, there might be that they are resistant to vitamin D. Like if you have insulin resistance, then you also will have a higher level of insulin in your body, because it just needs it. So in the same way, these people are they are deficient in vitamin D despite that they have higher blood levels. That might be a obvious for me at least, reason why they are also having problem with COVID. So don't believe shit like this, and always think about, when they are jumping to conclusions that vitamin D supplements might be dangerous, you should smell something. Does it smell Big Pharma? Oh yeah, it smells Big Pharma. You don't have to believe in that G4 causes COVID or something like that just because you don't trust Big Pharma. Trust me. And shit around the world, Israel has now decided that they need to have a huge lockdown, despite that about 1 person per million die every day with COVID. Maybe, I don't know how much they cheat with their tests and so on there. So who knows why? Is it that Bibi Netanyahu has some problems with the law and he needs some distraction, or is it just normal bureaucrats that just love to destroy society and destroy for people, and then they scream COVID dangerous, and then they kill 10 times more people with their bullshit? I don't know. It's something like that. UK decided now, more than 6 people you can't meet. We will destroy all your families, all your gatherings, all the fun that you have. Why? Reasons? Because we need to save the hospital. There are no COVID patients still on the hospitals. Not one single increase in people admitted to the hospital, so okay. But they have tests. Oh yeah, they have tests, and they are just fake. They take those samples in, they spin them around 45 times, and then they create the RNA that they wanted, and it doesn't matter that it didn't work anymore. So they take from people who are not sick and can't infect others, and they scramble around, they find some virus parted, maybe from COVID, maybe from other viruses, and just by spinning this enough times you can get someone positive, and then you can shut down society, because that's what you want, because you are... I don't know why. In Ankara we have a medical chamber, and what does a medical chamber think about stuff like anything, vitamin D, or in this case hydroxychloroquine plus another antiviral drug? They say it's very bad. Don't do that. It turns out that the hospitals are overfilling in Ankara, so to protect themselves they are sending out hydroxychloroquine and other drugs to people so that they don't have to come into the hospitals. And of course it's not perfect, but the hospitals and the doctors, they do the calculation that at least this is saving more lives than it potentially have a problem. But if you work for Big Pharma and you have your Ankara medical chamber, then you don't want that. You want people to suffer and die, and you want to control everything. And if someone took a chance with 90% success rate and they happen to be the other 10%, you can claim victory, and then you can get your Big Pharma buddies money. That's my take on the whole, but good for people in Ankara that they can get some medication, even if some people are against it. Here in Sweden, if you want to read an automatically get translated article, it's very good actually. It's about legalizing all drugs, or at least the most profitable ones for the mafia, with very good examples from Portugal and so on that I hope everyone knows about at this time. So if you have missed something about the best arguments in this issue, you have them downstairs there, and don't try to get offended, or don't let people offend you by calling you bad names because you want to legalize drugs. It's much safer for people who use drugs if they just can get them from the medical system, from hospitals or from the health care providers, whatever they are. And then they get them cheaper, and they get them safe, and they get good advice on taking whatever drug they wanted, or maybe they can get some better things, at least as long as they are somehow kept away from the illegal mafia. So if someone calls you names, call them back that they are something like a drug dealer, or if you can have a better name in your language or in your slang for people who are pushing drugs, drug pushers, if you are from, for example, Philippines. Use that, and don't feel that you are morally superior just because you are not on the side of the drug lords. Then we have a little bit funny news. In European Parliament there are a lot of arguments about this episode on Lesbos in the refugee camp called Moria. I can't take that discussion seriously. I think of Moria in what is it called? It's not from Tolkien. Oh, I don't have to say the correct word, the correct book. Tolkien's Moria with the dwarfs. So I'm only thinking about that they are trying to start a new porn movie with a lot of hairy short girls, and then I can't engage in their probably more boring discussions about the refugee situation instead of this probably really awkward porno.